Hello, everybody, and welcome back to some more VESL action. We're getting into week 3 here. I'm Fundy, joined by Jobin, and getting into this Valorant week here. This is actually a fresh division for both me and Jobin here, so we actually don't know too much about these teams. We do got a double header from Northeast Guilford High School, and their opponents tonight going to be STEM Early College and Western Guilford High School as well. So a little city high school rivalry there, but doubleheader for Northeast Guilford there. And Jobin, why don't you tell us a bit about these teams' records?
Yeah, with the playoffs being next week, I think it's only a 4-week season. The playoffs are going to start in week 4, so we're already coming down to the end of the season. How things look right now, it looks like STEM Early College, which is STEM EC, they're sitting at 1-1, have a dead even round differential, so they're still near the top of the table, but they've played, I think, one more game than some of the other teams have, so they're theoretically in a good spot. If they can walk away with the win, they'd be in that, plus 500 as far as round differential goes. Looks like we had Northern Guilford sitting at 0-1. They lost their first game 13-10, so theoretically realistically, if you can walk in and get 2 wins, get 2 clean wins at that, you're probably going to catapult yourself right to the top of the table. It being such a short season, 1 or 2 really good games is, it's going to be half of your season basically. So there is a lot on the line for these teams tonight, especially as we get down. If you get into the playoffs, you want to get a better seed. So both these teams want to make sure they are going to come in locked and ready.
Yeah, and the one thing I have noticed too is I think it's maybe just when these high school teams can really get together and play, but it seems like some weeks we're seeing some teams have a double header in that week and some teams will just have a single match. And often it seems like the teams with those double headers, yeah, they're getting a little bit more experience, but it feels like sometimes they're already dominant to begin with. And,
yeah,
we've seen differently in Rocket League. We saw over, and I think it was in the Sandhills division, we saw a team with 2 games that night, and they were unfortunately kind of on the losing side of both those games. And sometimes you got to take those as learning experiences too, and kind of just move in towards those next weeks. I know we're seeing some high round differentials on some of these standings, although this Guilford division did seem fairly even between all these teams. I didn't see anything really over under 5 round differential there, which is not too far apart.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be every team so far in this thing. The least close game, it looks like, was 13-10, 13-9 out of anything that's happened so far. So definitely going to be expecting a close match going into today. And with that being said, I think we are going to get into Agent Select, get underway with this first of the doubleheader. We're going to see if they can see either one of these teams can push themselves up that table, gear themselves up toward the playoffs. And we're going to be starting things off over on Split and looking like we're going to see some different comps. This is kind of the beauty of the high school scene. They're going to play different stuff. It's even some of the collegiate scene as well, but it's not going to be that stock standard Split comp. We're going to see a lot of different stuff.
I'm peeking at Inky right now. I'm seeing a Clove hover. That's not brand new at this point, but the newest agent in the game. Still pretty fresh on this season. Hasn't seen, a lot of play in really pro or collegiate. I don't know. Jobin,
she was disabled for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It was allowed. Then there was a bug with, I think, one of the smokes or something else. So she was disabled. I think she might be back allowed now as of last week, but she was she was allowed. And then immediately, as Valorant usually happens, there was a game breaking bug. And I know I actually did see that Cypher. I think it's in the next patch. There's actually a bug abuse on Split where you can boost up to a very, very cheeky spot. So I think Cypher is supposed to be disabled in the coming days in the next patch, so that's going to change up Split a bit, but I don't think that patch happened yet today, as we can see Cypher obviously in the game if he's been locked in.
Yeah, Cypher looking like he's still allowed there, and yeah, still looking at that hover from Inky on the Clove. It looks like they're just going to take this. Yeah, I believe it's Northeast Guilford on that defensive side starting there, but yeah, it looks like they're taking their time. They're really figuring out this comp, and the lock-in's starting to come through, and now this is where things get interesting. We do see the Clove locked in, as you mentioned, disabled for a little bit, and really, like often we see new champs in really any game in the pro meta, it's going to take a while to kind of develop. So over here in the high school, for all we know, these guys have been scrimming with the Clove on their team. They've been practicing. They're practicing up their setups and stuff, and they could be ready to just pull this out. And I haven't seen too much of this agent myself, so I'm really excited to see, how creative they can get with the kit, because there's some really interesting stuff with that agent.
Yeah, just playing against it, and maybe I think she's been out for maybe 3 weeks at this point. It still kind of trips me out when all the controllers on the map are seemingly dead and there's still smokes being placed. It's like where's Clove Glass? It's like, okay, no, she's in the afterlife. You still have 3 or 4 pieces of util that you can use, so she still has a lot of value. Obviously, I feel like the controllers nowadays, it's a lot less like the Astra. It's a lot more like mobile controllers to take space quickly, have a secondary ability in your kit. We saw it when Sky was like the new wave of initiators. Let's give her a heal, let's give her a stun, we'll give her a couple flashes. So I think these new agents are starting to be a little bit more hybrid than the same stuff we're used to seeing, but I am definitely here for it, and I'm excited that the high schoolers are definitely ready to jump with it.
Yeah, and you mentioned having a lot of cross-map agency. I think that's why we still see Viper on a lot of maps as well. But looking over towards the A site, Stem EC on the attacking side, getting in there on the pistol round. Not catching too much action right now. We'll have to flip over to that site soon, but Plant looking like it's primed to come down. It's Givewins to start that one. I believe he's on the Omen there. Crazy CB. Hasn't taken any damage. Did back off the site. And look at the chip damage on the side of Stem EC. They've got a few players lower health. 1-for-1's trades go through. And now the retake's got to happen. The spike's down.
Yeah, Crazy was trying to set the backside trap in Just outside of the site,
Ooh.
Inky and Crazy, they are going to go to the crossfire with Winslow, the Ghost, and the Classic. They are going to catch timing Stem. Couple of low health bars over there. Going to see if they're able to break out of this kind of trap that's been set by Crazy and Inky, but it looks like they are slowly falling one by one, all left to the breach. He's going to flash every single player, so I guess there was hope for the moment, but that'll eventually be the Rays taking care of business, and that'll be a defuse. Honestly, in the nick of time, they had maybe 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah, we're cutting it close there for sure. Not too much to sweat over. And as Northeast there going in on the retake too, when you got down to just that breach of the last player, you know you're in a 3v1. The last 2 players kind of just waited out that flash and then played off of each other at the end there. But it was definitely getting dicey. Crazy was down to like, I think 18, 19 health there. Definitely getting close. And Stem EC, they had a very quick execute onto the site. It took them a couple seconds to get that plant down, but once that Omen did finally get there, it was through. I think their downfall was stacking everybody up on the site and not really having a few players covering all bases. Of course, we saw Givewins kind of get taken down in his own smoke, trying to make a cheeky play, and that's the risks you take playing inside of a smoke like that.
Yeah, sometimes on pistol, it's just honestly worth it to take the 50-50, but obviously it's a 50-50, so you could very well lose that. If someone catches timing, that is instantly done for the round. But we are going to see Crazy linking up with the Outlaw. We are going to see Trey, though, popping off with the Vandal nice and early. So a lot of teams are going to do that. You're going to send that Jet, force out that rifle. You got the dash to safety, and if they can start to pop off and get those resets, you can immediately turn the round in your favor. And it looks like Trey has done just that. They're looking to set the squeeze down. Just going to go down water. I think they might know that someone's down here, but he hasn't made noise in a couple of seconds. But the timing is going to be perfect. And the SMG, a little bit too much to deal with. So the double rifles are going to grab 4 out of 5 kills. Exactly what you're looking for. And a nice flawless to keep all those guns.
Yeah, and as the attackers there, you're kind of sitting with classics. You saw Vacant tried to play around that corner, presumably looking for a right click with that classic. But when a Spectre sprints around the corner at you, they don't even have to stop moving to shoot you. There's really only so much you can do. After a successful pistol and a successful bonus round, we're seeing still 2 rifles online. That's the thing. When you don't lose a single player on that second round, their buy doesn't even look horrible here. Yes, it's not 5 rifles, but Trey's down early, actually. Vacant. Slow start for the kid, but now got a rifle in hand, starting to put some numbers up on the scoreboard. Vacant and Curse, 2 duelists making their mark on the entry.
Yeah, Jet versus Rays, the tried and true kind of El Clasico of the Valorant duelist scene, but we're going to see Rays playing topside heaven right now. It looks like Stem, they are set up very well for this. They're going to have post plant set up. Everybody is all set up for the crossfire. Breach has the flash angle ready. Inky and Ruku, though, 2 quick picks are going to start to even this thing back out. It looks like trying to go over the top, though. No one spotted out just yet because he's sitting up on top of rope is Wins. The Omen lurking, and those AKs are going to hit. So Stem hits the site perfectly. And honestly, it just comes down to that first blood. You take out Trey after he had that great first 2 rounds. You cut the head off of the snake, and then that site so much easier to find entry.
Yeah, and everyone's making their mark on the side of Northeast Guilford too, but Trey, of course, in those first few rounds really did shine, and then being that player with the Vandal too. You only had 2 Vandals on your team that round. He's taken out early. You're down to 1 rifle. You're playing on eco weapons, and you just can't deal with the sheer number of players and the weaponry that they're pulling up to the site with. That's going to be Stem EC. Rightfully so, taking their first buy round there. Ruku, that's a dangerous peak to have your knife out during, but the spot goes well. He knows there's 2 players up, and it means a quick rotation from Trey through vents, presumably.
Now we're going to see a lot of spam down, though. This is a very hard place to try to get out of. Ruku is going to send the Prowler. Looking to see if he can create any space. Stem, once again, looking toward the 8th site, trying to gear up, possibly looking for the rotation here, though. A lot of resistance. They realize that is a lot of utility that got sent their way. A couple of the health bars got dinged as well, possibly by that raised grenade. So looks like a rotation is going to be there, but it looks like Trey is sitting on it perfectly. Immediately goes for the pinch through mid, is going to find that first pick. So Spike is going to be trapped along with the entire team. If Northeast Guilford can go and set this trap right now, they could have potentially had the entire team literally fish in a barrel, but they're going to leave the entire team onto Trey, chasing him all the way through the B site right now. He's going to have to retreat back to the Cypher, and it is a mad dash toward B right now. And Northeast Guilford, once they get these rotations, they are going to have a nice trap.
Yeah, you see Ruku starting to make it up through vents right now, taking the ropes, but you got to act soon. Trey spotted out 4 players, takes down 2. It's the 3rd kill of the round. There's 2 players stuck up in heaven. Trey's on track for the ace, barely lost any health throughout the round, but it's dudes on the raise to find those 2, trying to make the rotations from the attack there very, very interesting. You were kind of just stuck in between the entire team the whole time. They had to try and sneak down the stairs, try to rotate over towards A through CT. It was just a very tough situation to be in, and you had players watching every angle. Looks like we're just going to have a little bit of a quick pause here. Fly through it soon. So far, Guilford looking strong. Trey really showing the duelist prowess and how much a solid jet can, you know, just change the game.
Yeah, I think Ruku should be back in here within, I think, hopefully within under a minute or 2, it looks like, just from taking a gander. And usually, especially with Val, it's usually a quick reconnect, assuming that there is, praying to God, no mouse issues, no keyboard issues, no internet issues. That is usually the
VCT
the more out of
mouse
control
pauses are...
The VCT mouse pause, that was pretty funny the other day. Boost you, mouse stops working. Yeah, guys, I'll go bait. I'm going to stand up mid-round after I die and shrug it off because my team ended up winning a 4v5, so... Definitely, you know, probably not going to happen, especially on the high school level. It'd be a lot harder to rely on those 4 teammates to, you know, go take that 4v5 and trade you. So hopefully should be back in here within a second or 2, one way or the other.
All right, yeah, and I think we're just going to send it to a quick little break. Here we'll get through, allow these tech pauses to kind of just figure itself out, get Ruku kind of back in the game, back up and running. But yeah, we'll send it over to a quick break. We'll be right back when we're back for round 5.
Just a quick little pump fake in the agent select, but the game is underway. Just have to reset the loading screen really quickly. But we're going to get back underway here. Pause is undone. Ruku is back into the game, and we are back into the swing of things. It is going to be an eco for the side of STEM. Down 3-1 currently on that attacking side. We're going to see the Bladestorm online for Trey. Only going to be the Omen Ultimate online for STEM, so you're not really going to have that much to work with this round. I'm expecting a full sprint up mid, possibly up B. They're leaving that raise to go lurk off site. But other than that, you're not going to try to play these long-range angles.
No, you just don't have the weaponry for it. You do have, like, don't get me wrong, there was a decent amount of money on a few players, but you want to even that one out. That's why you see everyone going down to close to 2,000, a little bit above in that range, and they're going to be able to get a full buy off next round. Northeast Guilford, though, playing perfect default right now on the defense, really just waiting for any kind of contact. And STEM EC, in contrast to a lot of eco rounds that we see from a lot of teams, they're waiting on the defense to make the play rather than sending, say, 5 players down mid, see what happens. You see Trey to make that first one, Cypher's down. That means tripwires are down as well. There's another, but full fountain finally with the trade. Only takes 2 players before Trey goes down.
Yeah, so maybe STEM was expecting Northeast Guilford to get a little bit aggressive and try to go for a swing because that read was there. Unfortunately for them, they did end up losing 2 players. They are going to get a Vandal back in their possession, so they could potentially look for the B hit here. Cypher Util is going to be set up. They have the camera toward the backside of that site, basically playing for that default plant spot, but Ruku looking to clear top side heaven. No one going to be there, though. Everyone currently sitting in main. Omen TP is going to come through into the shadows. Going to be right underneath that Cypher cam, though. This could potentially be massive because Crazy had a lot of intel. The trade is going to come through, though. Eventually, the punish is going to be found in STEM. 11 seconds left, but they are going to beat the buzzer, find a couple of kills, and we're finally going to have a post plant, and it's going to be a 2v2.
A lot of util flying around, but Inky from Garage. 2 clean kills, last one being a headshot. And it's a quick defuse. That spike hasn't even been down for long. You're going to be able to get that showstopper up and running on the Rays as well. Guilford feeling good in this one. I need to start referring to them as Northeast because we're going to get to next game. I'm going to keep calling them Guilford, and it's going to be both teams. But in all seriousness, I mean, Trey getting aggressive almost every round, gets traded out, but not before finding 2 kills. And yeah, they're able to recover a rifle from that. STEM EC gets something. It helps them go get the plant down, but
attacking Omen up.
That's new. Light armor as well.
Yeah, new and bold. 2 interchangeable terms for what we are watching. But I guess if you're going to go peak ramp and you thought maybe you were going to catch a Raze trying to pop the showstopper, but if this Raze does decide she wants to go crazy, if they get intel that the entire team is A, this is a giga showstopper angle if I have ever seen one. So as Trey, though, continuously works up the flank, he walks right through water, trying to go undetected, but him and Tally, I think they both spotted each other, but this Cypher looking to maybe catch the timing, and Trey eventually is going to get punished. So 5v4 looking to break open the A side. We are going to see a couple of angles up toward heaven and toward the backside of site. Ruku is going to drop first blood. The attacking op actually is going to provide value, but it will immediately get traded out. So that is going to be out of the field for the time being. Ruku is going to find 3 in the process. It's going to be a Nightfall to retort this pressure coming through from STEM. And it looks like the pressure has been completely nullified. Yeah, he's pretty much run and done. The Seeds, the K, the Paint Shell, the Boom Bot, only the last thing to spot, but they know where he is, and he does not have the bomb.
Yeah, they've got the spike in vision. They can play so far away and still have their eyes on this one as well. Tally, who did find first blood in this round up against Trey, looked like they were going to be able to start off hot, but you invested so much into the op that really didn't end up doing too much for you. And then Ruku picked up a 3K on site off the back of that, was able to get the Nightfall off. Last 2 players are spotted out. And look at where we are right now. About 10 seconds left in the round. Tally scrambling to make a play, has to win the 1v1, but Inky shots are too clean. 5-1 for Northeast Guilford.
I'm going to assume you've now given an op over to the top fragging Jet, unless maybe somebody else wants to take it. But yeah, it looks like that is going to go right into Trey's hands. That can delay him having to use that Blade Storm for another round. He doesn't have to buy anything up this round. Inky basically sitting at max credit, so if anyone needed to buy, it would be able to come through. So STEM looking a little bit harder for where as far as the buy is going to go. It's going to have to be the Sheriff, maybe some kind of SMG. Curse actually will have to probably pop the Blade Storm. So STEM right now, they're going to be relying on a lot of these ultimates to make plays, and unfortunately for them, Northeast Guilford still sitting on 4 out of 5, only needing that Nightfall last round.
Yeah, they didn't really have to use much in that round other than Ruku's ammo. And when you put an op on the Jet who's already been frying, you just can't peek that angle. Trey been getting aggressive just about every round. Only really had 1 round, that last round, have it blow up in their face, and the team was there to back them up. Trey in the close range pops the Blade Storm, is going to take down Tally, moves on Vacant. That's the 3rd kill. Curse finally with the trade. STEM EC. It's kind of just been the story of their rounds here. Trey picks up 2 kills, maybe 3, and then you're just grasping at straws trying to get back into the round because you put so much resources and so many players into just taking down that Jet.
I mean, that round, they couldn't even make it into main, up through ramp, into male, or back into vent. They couldn't even cross the middle part of the map, so they were basically on lockdown the entire way through. And eventually, they were able to break through, but it is going to be a 6-1 lead for Northeast Guilford. You're still sitting on 3 ultimates. You're sitting on that Clove ultimate, basically a hybrid version of kind of that Phoenix run it back. You can go into the afterlife. You get a chance to get a kill or it's basically the Renata bailout is what it's the closest thing to, actually. You get a kill or an assist. You're going to come back into the game. You got the showstopper. You still have the neural theft in the back pocket. So STEM right now, you've got to pop the blades in the showstopper, and you just got to make something happen. Use this breach ultimate, execute on the site, just stack up, try to hit the go button somewhere, because sitting back and spawn and waiting to get punished is not going to get you any rounds.
Yeah, honestly, you've got so much to work with now. They got to be proactive about this on the attack. They've kind of just been letting Trey have their way with the map early on in the round. It means that Trey is going to go through sewers, going to push up garage, going to just push up straight mid. There's so many options for this player when they're not being challenged. So now, STEM EC kind of just got to put the pedal to the metal, get moving, get onto a site. We saw it in the first round right on pistol round, right out of the gate. They flew onto A site, they found a pick in the process, and they got the plant down. They weren't able to win that round in the post-plant situation, but the starting of the round was exactly what they've needed for the past few here to not just, set themselves... They set themselves up on the round to just be 1 or 2 players down when they wait for these peaks from the defense. It looks like playing defense themselves.
I was literally going to say, it looks like they're playing default defense. It also looks like they're playing terrified to get punished because the last couple rounds, the second they shouldered any corner, they were getting immediately taken down. They set up a tripwire, but we're going to see an engagement all the way back through. So you set up a tripwire, you bring 3 players, and you still lose 2 to double headshots. And now you're basically put in that same position again, where there's not really much you can do. Maybe Inky tries to get a little bit aggressive. It looks like he possibly got a sound cue on this breach in the back spot. They're maybe still expecting a player there from that earlier fight. So it's just, it's much more of nothing. You're never going to win the round on offense sitting back like this. Inky, though, is going to get flanked. Immediately is going to go into that run it back, though. You can possibly find that kill or assist like I was talking about. You will get revived. You'll get a chance back into this round, but Give Wins is going to find the 2-piece on it. But there is Trey with the op. He's got the angle. He's got the lineup. And now the spike is down in mid, and Trey is looking for a little bit more. Whew, just a haircut. It did not find the shot. That one, though, will connect instead. And Trey getting a little bit aggressive, going to go for the dunk.
So blind.
Is going to eventually get punished. Yeah, listen, it happens. When you flex like that with the off, you got to go for the last one. And when it's 7-1 and you're getting that off back, why not?
Trey actually cut off Breach's ponytail there, though. That was insane.
I thought for sure that was a shot.
Just barely whiffed the shot by like a pixel too high in between the gap in that smoke. And the thing about Inky there on the Clove as well, did pop the ultimate, wasn't able to find that kill to actually get back into the game, but sometimes being a human drone is enough.
Listen, yeah, you got 5 players, especially that's why Clove is so good too, because if you get taken out, the other team has to respect that ultimate. Even if you get killed again, it's like the Euro roll. I can just go run around and give information. Even if I die again, I already died before. I can go tell everybody what is all happening. And we are going to see finally 4 ultimates getting invested toward B. So the Deep Omen TP into the backside of B. They're looking to set up that plant spot. Looks like Heaven possibly contested by Trey with the op. 2 ultimates online for Northeast Guilford as well. So Bladestorm online for STEM. They're going to finally set that plant down. Now we've got a 5v5 post plant. Well,
Ruku has to start throwing some util onto this site. I hear blades flying as Trey's going to take down the opposite jet. Trades kind of just go in advantage of Northeast Guilford. There's a showstopper online. It's going to mean Tally's down and Vacant trying to play the post plant. 3 players peeking the map once, able to find 1. But Trey with the 3K, moving to 8-2-1. Northeast Guilford not even breaking a sweat in these ones, especially when Trey's had this op in their hands. I mean, has yet to drop this op, has yet to have to buy a new one. Almost back at the Bladestorm as well.
Yeah, good old-fashioned duelist differential so far. I mean, you're just looking at the jet kills alone. You're going to see 16-3 going across the board. So you're already going to see that he is definitely on fire. And when that jet gets hot early in the game, they seem very, very hard to cool off. And STEM, you burned 4 ultimates that round and did not walk away with the victory. You still left 2 players from Northeast Guilford alive. So it was basically DEFCON 5 complete chaos that round. Trey, though, yeah, 16-6, up 8-1. This is exactly the push I'm looking for, but the push for STEM is going to go to A.
Yeah, already they're flying in there, and it's something that I wanted to see out of them earlier. And look, you've got a 1-for-1 trade right now. You're kind of in on the site. This flank from Trey is going to be so good for the side of Guilford right now. He hops straight into that smoke, and he wants to fight close range with this Omen. Finds the headshot, gets the reset, but it doesn't matter because Dudes is on the raise. He's on the site, and he picked up a 3K. Trey, I think he found back-to-back 3Ks in the last, 4 rounds, but it was Raze's turn there. Gotta let the other duelist shine just a little bit.
Yeah, and he jumped over the tripwire. That was a pretty dramatic entrance from the backside of A ramp. So just once again, Northeast Guilford, they didn't let them walk onto the site, but they were more willing to play retake there, let that pressure kind of go away. And they're like, listen, we got Trey on the flank, we got Dudes up in heaven right now. We are gonna send bullets down there. So 9-1 lead so far. Both ciphers, I feel like, have not ulted the entire game. So maybe at some point we'll see a neural theft one way or the other to at least get some info, maybe make your life a little bit easier in the post plant, especially for STEM. STEM. I mean, Northeast, I can understand saving it because things are going so well, but 2 rounds left in the half. At some point, you've got to think they're going to use it. And once again, STEM, they're sitting back in B spawn.
Yeah, they're waiting. At least this time, it looks like a B push is kind of in the question. They have an idea here. Of course, Omen, he's going to drop that smoke at A, but you've got so much range on those. You can provide a little bit. If you move over in the sewers, you could throw a smoke up there into heaven as well.
If they don't clear this Cypher, they are so in trouble.
You gotta win these ones. They spot him out, though. That's called simple geometry. Wins the angle battle there. Has a longer one. That's it's a bit of a complex concept there, but it's a very like core concept of kind of Counter-Strike and Valorant is kind of how those angles work. And it means that Northeast Guilford, even though they lost one, Ruku comes onto the site and just clears house. I don't even know what to say anymore, because sometimes it seems like STEM EC has the exact round start that you want, and then I just see blue in the kill feed.
And because they've been on max loss bonus for a time, I have to imagine there was at least 3 to 4 semi-real weapons between Bulldog, Vandal, and Phantom. So, like you said, to push like that, you seemingly take some of the site, and then all of a sudden, it feels like every time it's either the Jet, the Raze, and then in this case, the Fade rotates all the way from basically middle area, was trying to play ropes and vents, rotates all the way over to B, just sits in the corner, finds an easy 2 to 3 piece, and just for STEM, that's these pushes that you think might look good for a second or two, and then they immediately turn into absolute disaster. And this time, Trey, he's not going to go for the slow flank. He is absolutely running it, and it looks like STEM is running for their lives.
And look at this, 2 players on the flank as well. There was a cage down, and Curse is waiting for this peek. Curse, a little bit slow on the first shot, will find the kill, but Inky's there for the trade. They almost lined up. STEM EC down 1 player. There's the near sight. Is he ulting away? I don't know about that one necessarily. A little bit too long of a charge up on that. Inky, more rightfully so, is able to just peek that and find that kill.
I wonder.
Sorry, go ahead.
I wonder where he was TPing, because as far as I guess if you shoot where Omen's gonna teleport, he doesn't take damage. But if you shoot the original statue, I guess that's fair game. Because typically I played a lot of Omen, but I'm usually not ulting in front of people because it's just, you know, it's good habits to not do that. So not an interaction that we usually see, because he's usually somewhere across the map trying that. But, you know, maybe didn't have the Shrouded Step, the quick C teleport. So tried to go for that long teleport and maybe try to get into heaven and reposition, but just too slow on the draw after that kill. Because obviously, right, they're going for the double pinch. You had maybe half of a second to react, and that teleport is about 5 seconds long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to pull up the map.
Long ulti.
You have to, and he was shooting while Inky was nearsighted there, so it took him a while to pull that out. Like, he didn't pull out the ult itself until after the near sight had kind of worn off. Yeah, it's just a lot to decipher in that play. Sometimes you're in the heat of the moment and you kind of think you can get away with something that might be a little bit too good to be true, and he kind of tried to just sneak that one through. Granted, it was last round, so I can kind of see him being in the mindset of also like, oh crap, I have the ult, let me try and get out of this situation, reposition, and just didn't have the time for it.
Yeah, I can honestly see that for sure. He's just like, listen, like, it's now or never, right? I'm probably gonna lose this engagement anyway, so maybe I'll go for something a little bit cheeky. We've seen crazy things happen with Omen, especially as he's kind of evolved there over time. Curse right now, though, basically landing every single Sheriff shot over on B. We are gonna see Dudes, though, is gonna grab first blood. But if you are STEM, I mean, rather, I said the other way, they took a lot of damage, but Curse, this Sheriff is hitting true and tried. He hit a couple of shots in a row there, and these are some low health bars for both sides right now. The paint shells just gonna try to zone him off for the time being. Curse still looking for the swing. The rest of his team looking to get to work, though. It's gonna be full fountain. That's gonna be 1 duelist down for the side of Northeast Guilford. Plant is gonna go through now, and it's gonna become over across the map. This is a lot of fun action on the B site, but A was completely taken and planted. It was all a ruse.
But Ruku was on that B site the whole time. They completely forgot about him. He's gonna get up behind Curse right now.
This is a disaster.
The knife.
He's gonna get knifed. He's gonna get knifed.
It happened. It happened. They forgot there was another player there. Well, maybe they never knew because they were smoked off for a bit, so they only really saw the players that shot at them. Vacant, though.
They can get this.
Ruku's the only one coming back now. They have to stick this right now, and Ruku has to make this peek. Shoot the player on the bomb, but full fountain. with the headshot.
I love explosions.
Holy, STEM EC from the depth pulls that through. I mean,
To scatter from my stuff. Super easy to pick off.
for everything I saw, it looked like they were just falling apart at the seams there, and Guilford kind of had their number. And the shots just kind of rained true on that site, and Ruku's so far behind.
I would like to know how many teams have ever gotten knife killed and won the round with 2 players alive. Because usually if that's happening, you're detained by Killjoy or Gecko, or the game is just lost.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I can see that. It's rare that that happens in such a, I guess, natural fashion like that.
Look at mid.
Yeah, this is a, it's about to be a party over there.
And I see, oh, potentially Trey, though. That is a great first blood for STEM. So they do have the better weaponry, and they are going to flex it. They're going to get those SMGs to work. They read that mid plate beautifully, and that's the good thing about split defense. If you can cut off those choke points, you can basically suffocate all of mid, all of B. And split, the name of the game is get mid control. If you control mid, you can split off those rotations so much easier. Bomb now in a bit of a tricky situation here. Dudes has to try to fight his way out of the corner. 12 HP, has a teammate also gonna be on a blinking health bar. STEM right now just wants to make sure they don't throw away any free weapons. They've already gotten battered enough in the first half, so you want to go into this eco round, or this bonus round rather, as strong as you can. But that camera, yeah, that's gonna do some work. That should do some information collection right now. We are gonna see Ruku though, still looking for the lurk, but it's a 5v1. He's alone. Bomb is mid. 33 seconds. This round is all but over.
30 seconds left.
And they
Yeah, there's really nowhere to go here for him. If anything, you're kind of just hoping to find a shot, maybe a kill. There's a player with a Marshall. Maybe you can find a right click, but the inevitable comes through, and STEM EC, beautiful pistol round, and follow it up with a flawless. Possibly going to turn this game around. They had a very tough attacking side, but as we're seeing, nothing is over until it's over.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of blown leads in Valorant, especially Split. It feels like a map where it used to be like 9-3 sided every single time at collegiate, at pro level, T3, didn't matter. And then every half would just be 9-3, and then the game finishes 18-16 or 20-18, ends up being some long knockout, drag out overtime game. But if I'm Northeast Guilford right now, I wouldn't be feeling too worried. Trey has still been frying. That was your eco round. You're not really expecting much to come of it, and you've already started to take these rifles and start to put in some work. That's going to be a good early pick. You're taking down the Jet. A site, it is going to be a 5v2 if they can cut off this backside rotation. Inky and Trey have done so successfully. Vacant is eventually going to find one back with the Stinger, but that is a consolation prize at best, because it is plant, it is 4v1, it is an early Cypher ult online, and Tally actually are going to invest the neural theft. So you know what? You get it 2 rounds into the half. You know, why not?
Yeah, use it, I guess.
Probably didn't need to, but you know.
Now you just get to headhunt and run him down. You know he's at least on this B side of the map for sure. You don't have any more guesswork in it, but you also don't want to give up too many players into this. Yes, this is your buy round, but you're still not going to be great economically after this. You do want to keep those 3 rifles if you can, and the crouch actually on the spray means that Ruku is going to dodge a few of those bullets and easily find that round. Now this means that Northeast Guilford is on that map point, is looking to take this map through, and they're actually going to pop a timeout as well. So they're really trying to lock this round down.
This is purely for mental.
It's mental game. Yeah,
there
100%.
is never a tactical
100%.
strategic timeout at 12-3. You're just sitting right now. They're like, hey guys, they're going to have sheriffs and stingers. Let's just take a moment, bask in the glory of the 12-3. Maybe tab check the scoreboard. How's everyone's stats doing? Who needs to get a couple of kills? You know, who can get an ultimate? Maybe we can try to clip farm this last round, because the buy is not going to be good for STEM. Obviously, it shouldn't maybe be too bad. They should be able to scrape together possibly a couple rifles and light armor. The util might be a little bit lacking, and when you're playing a raised jet comp on defense and you're lacking util, I definitely start to worry, considering how much kind of explosion and how much die this Northeast Guilford side has. So they're gonna really have to dig their heels in here, probably get lucky and make the right read in which site they're going to, and you know, you only need 9 in a row.
That's true. You only need 9 in a row to take this one to an overtime. You already found 2 in a row. Granted, it was on, you know, the dead even round and the round where you had a crazy economic advantage, but it ain't over till it's over. not out till you're out. Let's see it. STEM EC, kind of your last chance here, and this goes here. This is not looking like the greatest start. Everyone is stacked up at B from STEM EC, and there's a 5-man stack at A from Northeast Guilford. This spike is about to go down before you can blink.
Are they gonna go through mid?
Are they? What is happening right now?
This is an interesting route that you don't really ever see because it's kind of wayward. I guess maybe they were expecting there to be defensive presence on A and they wanted full heaven control, and this is a full dive comp to the fulls. This is exactly what I was talking about. When you're playing this kind of comp, they know they don't have any defense either. You have a Jet and a Raze and an Omen. Like, you have nothing to stop a push. After that first paint shell and that first fault line goes, you've got a couple of smokes
now
and
they're
like
going
a
to A.
dash. And now they're just going to rotate back over because they won the fights. Now it's a 3v1. You've still got the Cypher set up to get over there. He's already got the camera and the tripwire set up for long. So this is looking like Northeast Guilford's round to take and their game to close down. Assuming they don't erroneously throw it, but it looks like step one of the throw is complete.
Yeah, your Jet with knives just completely gets blindsided. Still, that spike ticking away. Give wins. Not out of this just yet. So low on Inky. Yeah, he does have a lot of time, and now he has full control of the site. Round's almost in his hands. Sees the player, finds the shot of 4K, and Jobin, only 9 rounds straight, and right after this, it's only 8. Northeast Guilford, they might have gotten a little too cocky.
12 is all they get, is what I would be saying if I was a STEM player. Realistically, probably not going to be the case, but this be one of those games we're going to see how much they can try to drag out this game, see how many rounds they can take, because especially if this playoff bracket does come down to round differential, which, I mean, it's listed on the score sheet, so I have to imagine if there are tiebreaker scenarios, like, round differential is going to come into play. So for either one of these teams, I wouldn't necessarily be, like, you know, doing any light trolling or throwing away rounds, especially if we're not going to be an undefeated team and I'm going to have a 2-1 record tied with another school. I'd rather be up, you know, 22 round differential than throw a couple rounds and it be 15-16.
I gotta be honest, Scrim More is triple S tier trash talk.
I saw that too. That is pretty good.
They're trying to do it. They're trying to do the exact same play once again. Trey flies through vents, is gonna get taken down by Tally.
Oh, Cypher all
playing in that corner, and now they know everyone's in heaven. They're kind of just locked in there. Northeast Guilford gonna have to fight their way out.
Spike down A.
They did a pretty good job of fighting their way out so far. Unfortunately, they are going to be down to 2 players. The entire gang up into rope and vent. Ruku is going to find the first one, but he's got, looks like Dudes has a Bucky in the side corner, but the shotguns are perfect for this angle. This is why Raze has an amazing time playing split. It's a Judge or a Bucky, and that corner will do you so good. Ruku, though, 12 HP. That cage going to be nicely set up. See if they can catch anything with the Haunt. Are going to catch the tail end of it, but Tally right now at this point, it's a back and forth. Doesn't know Ruku's going to be on 1 HP. That camera immediately going to be taken down. Bomb, though, is in a bit of a tough position. Left. As long as Tally doesn't throw this one away, this is his round to win.
And Ruku's dangerously low. Like, you have to go for this, yes, but you don't have much time. And there's this spot on the map where you're not going to get shot during that plant. Here's the footsteps. Tally only has to play time right now.
I probably would have just planted that the first time. Yeah.
Pros don't fake is the saying. Tally being able to use those audio cues to his advantage. Here's like 2 plants in his whole time there on the site. He's able to go through, and with full health, you're only waiting for 1 body shot on Ruku there.
We're gonna see, this is one of the buys of all time, and the funny thing is, this is probably gonna win. The more Odins you have, the higher percentage chance you are going to win the round. They do have a Nightfall, a Showstopper, and that Clove Ultimate online. So right now, Northeast Guilford, they are going to sprint A, they are going to left click, and they are probably just going to overwhelm these poor 2 players that are gonna try to play defense.
This full fountain takes down the one on site, and you have Ruku who's in here on the site, but if you take a look at Trey, this seems to be Northeast Guilford's play on attack. put all your resources on one side, and every single play is a fake towards the other side, actually.
If you listen closely, you can hear the ocean. It just sounds like 7,000 bullets going off at the exact same time in sync. Because these Odins have been ringing off into the night basically the entire time. And once again, it was a double fake. They invested everything over toward the A site. They send 2 lurkers to go over toward B, that being Trey and Crazy. Crazy's going to get the trip set up. Ruku's going to find first blood. It's going to be an Odin kill back over for Stem, but in a 3v2, Clove does have that second chance at life. Crazy has a lot of information on the top side with the Odin, is going to find the first one. Bacon finds the trade. Again, Clove has the ultimate. It's going to be essentially a 3v1 for Bacon. You've got to take down Ruku first, but eventually that will spell the end of the time in this game for STEM EC. So, you know, a game we figured that Northeast was going to win after a point, but, you know, they eventually dialed it in, went for that kind of double fake Pearl strat where you used to just run to one side, run to the other, run that way again, and eventually plant.
Yeah, that was definitely something. I liked it the first time when it's like, oh, fly through the vents. They're not expecting it. I don't think that Northeast Guilford necessarily knew that there was nobody on the A site at that time. I think if they did know that, they might have just stayed there and plant, but they didn't take the time to find out that info. They just wanted to make this play happen and, you know, make a bit of a statement. And if I'm being honest, I have no idea what to expect in this next game now. Are we going to see this dominance? Are we going to see this confidence from Northeast Guilford? Because towards the end of that game, Ruku had a bit of a point to prove as well. But when you start with an 11-1 half, you can't expect anything less than the win.
Yeah, when you have a player that's basically like 22-10 and you're up that much at that point, you know pretty well the game's in your hands. At some point, especially in Valorant, especially at some of like the lower levels of play, usually hand stiff is ultimately the biggest factor. Like strategy and a lot of these other components do play a big factor, but at that stage of the game, usually mechanics are eventually right. All the ranked grinders, all the crazy mechanical players, those are usually the ones hitting Immortal Radiant first. So naturally, the mechanics will get you the farthest early, and then getting that team around you is going to be that secondary. So I am excited for the second game. We should be going to just a quick 2-minute break between the games, get the setup for the second half of our doubleheader, and see what crazy comps, what map, what setups we're going to see, and we'll catch you guys back with more VESL in 2.
Welcome back, everybody. Getting straight into this one, and you've already seen one of these rosters. That's Northeast Guilford there. They're going to be starting on the attack this time. See those 5 players, and over on the other side is going to be the new roster for us, Western Guilford. Double Guilfords in this matchup. Waldo, Fahadi, Sean, Jaeger, and Jade?
I would guess probably
I'm just going to say Jaw for
Yeah.
most of the game here. That works for me.
I think that one is going to work for everyone here, and we are going to be going over to Ascent. So basically the the old man map of Valorant. It's been around for as long as I can remember. It is basically, I like that we're not going to see the same kind of boring stock standard comp. We are going to see the Clove getting picked up by Inky once again. We are going to see relatively standard comps across the board otherwise. The Gecko and the Phoenix, definitely a different shade of what we're used to seeing, but you still see these agents from time to time pop up on some of these maps, especially Phoenix. I feel like if someone's good on Phoenix and they have fun playing him, that guy can just make his presence felt anywhere. So we are going to see if Northeast Guilford can pick up the second win. The first game didn't really cause them too much trouble. The only trouble they ran into was basically self-inflicted when the game was already wrapped up and finished. So we're going to see if Western Guilford has anything for the assumedly crosstown rivals here and if they can shake it up on a set.
Yeah, that is true. Northeast Guilford didn't really have too much to sweat over in the last game, and I think Western Guilford, they've got a name to make here. They've got a team to beat now. This is definitely the team to look at, the team to beat in this division for sure. Honestly, just after looking at both Trey and Inky and Ruku's gameplay, I think those were the three players that really did shine in that last match. Of course, Crazy being on someone like the Cypher didn't really need to go crazy in the kill department, no pun intended, but just kind of chilled there, placed those solid tripwires and had the cages up and stuff like that. But now, starting on the attack, we're going to see something different from Northeast Guilford here, because we didn't get to see too many attacking rounds out of them.
I don't think we had to see a whole lot of set strategy from either team last game, because I feel like it got so out of hand so quickly that we didn't get to see the entire playbook. But who needs a playbook when you've got a Killjoy? The microwave is set up and that thing was turned up to high. That is a 3K for Waldo, looking to make it 4. And yeah, where's Waldo? He's in the boathouse killing the entire attacking team. Only one player left. That is going to be the Jet in Trey. And Waldo right now, I mean, just setting up for the ace. At this point, it's a 4v1. You've got all the advantage. The bomb is basically in no man's land, so it's going to be Waldo walking up, looking for the challenge. Trey's going to get tagged up, is going to find the headshot, dashes away to safety, but it is going to be a first round ace for the Killjoy. A little bit of help from the gadgets as well, so that is a statement out of West Guilford.
Yeah, barely even takes any damage there, too, because 2 of your kills didn't even have to look for them, just kind of let the nano swarms do all the work. And that's the beauty of Killjoy on this map, of course, setting up at the B site there, being able to set up that microwave kind of combo with the alarm bot, the double nano swarm. It just does so much damage, especially if you're the player that gets vulnerable by that alarm bot. There's almost nothing you can do if you're just stuck kind of in the middle of those 2 nano swarms.
Oh, you're instantly dead.
There's nowhere to run, and you're ticking down so fast.
Yeah, I think it decays like 15 per second when you're stuck in the middle
and
of 2
you
of them.
double that up from the vulnerable.
Yeah,
everything is doubled when you're vulnerable. It's insane.
Yeah, you have maybe a second and a half to get away, but a couple interesting first picks. We're going to see a wallbang with the Outlaw and then a wallbang headshot answer with the Sheriff, and then Waldo still locking down the B site. They went for a full market push this time, so trying to bypass that Killjoy utility, going through B long right now. So market looks like it was the choice, but Jod is going to be ready for the push. Trey, that is a great paranoia. Trey, no chance to fight back on that one. We are going to see the K-bomb is going to get tossed onto Jod, is going to have to stay back at least for a few seconds. One of those tricks in Clove's tool belt there, that decay also in the back pocket. So another kind of different angle on the controller. Waldo continuing to rack up kills with the Ghost. That is going to be an Outlaw kill over onto Jod, though. Sean just looking for the last pick, but this Outlaw definitely getting in some work this round. That is 4 kills for the gun, 3 just for dudes alone. But Waldo, this guy is on point with the Ghost. 8 kills through 2 rounds, and that is going to be a free Outlaw for this triple.
Yeah, and one thing I did notice there, I do kind of want to take a peek at Jaw here. I want to see what they do buy up. It is going to be a Vandal, but there was nothing bought from Jaw in that second round. I really thought we were going to see an alt force here in the 3rd round, but maybe not going to come through just yet. Did recover that Outlaw for Waldo, and if anyone's going to keep, I guess, that lower tier of weapon, if you want to call that, yeah, but make it the guy who's been popping off with the Ghost and is also able to kind of sit back on the utility a little bit and wait for players to come to them. Perfect player to have that sniper if you don't want that mid player having it.
Yeah, looks like a default execute onto A, though. We saw Trey dash onto Jen, looking to immediately get up into Hell. Spike is going to get planted that second default spot as well. So Northeast Guilford, very good adaptation. The Killjoy is almost always going to play the B site on Ascent, so you just opt to play away from that completely. Usually is going to be the strategy, and Fahad is going to find the first kill. Hunter's Fury is in the back pocket for Northeast if they decide for the post plant that it is necessary, but these Vandals, they are definitely alive and kicking. Shockdar gonna go up the top. Waldo, though, just wide swinging Trey with the ghost. So this guy and his pistol are something else to behold right now. But Ruku eventually will hold on to the bonus round, will grab 3 with that Vandal, and that'll be a round on the board for Northeast.
Somebody make a ghost montage for Waldo right now, because he had the outlaw there. I don't think he actually found a shot with the outlaw. I think that next kill, that ninth kill, ghost also came from the ghost. So we've got 9 kills from straight pistols right now, and Northeast Guilford did find their first one on the bye round, and presumably might be able to convert this into a bit of momentum. We're seeing them have a tough time, but the first 2 rounds, you kind of have to call them what they were. I mean, there was 2 kills from the Nano Swarm from Waldo. They kind of just tried to rush in. Now that we're playing a little bit more calm, collected Valorant here, might be seeing a little bit of a different game. We're already seeing kills start to go Northeast Guilford's way. This is what I'm looking for from that last map.
Yeah, this is more what I expected to see, especially with teams that seemingly have, you know, some stronger players. The mechanics are already sound, so this is exactly what I want to see, is the strategy, playing away from the Killjoy, keep going back to A until she either moves that setup or you send another player over there to assist, because right now, they've basically been walking on for free. Very little defense so far. Everyone kind of up in tree right now, but everything is locked down. Heaven is locked down, tree is locked down. Ruku's playing backside Jen. The 0 point is going to look for the tag. Right click pop flash, looking to catch out Fahad. The spray down is going to be good for him. Information galore right now for Northeast Guilford. Basically, everyone funneling out of tree. You can see where they all died. 3 X's basically in that 10-foot span. So great job to lock down the site once more. Just continuously, listen, if Waldo's got 9 kills and you're dying to his util, I'm never pushing this guy's site either. I'm going to keep going A until he shows, and then the next round, I'm going to swap back.
Yeah, now 2 rounds straight for Northeast Guilford, and in that round 2, we got to see a little bit more of the range of the players here. It was Crazy and Trey who found most of the kills in their first round win, and then we got to see Ruku and Dudes pop off a little bit. Dudes obviously had a great round with that outlaw earlier as well, even though they did fall in that round, but was able to pad the stats a little bit there.
Especially when you're down 2-1, 2-0, you know, good to get a couple of those momentum kills under your belt. Once you hit a couple of those shots, the game starts to feel a little bit easier. And right now, once again, Killjoy is not going to play here. We're going to pop that KO ultimate. We are going to walk onto A. We're going to get a free plant. Fragment Grenade should be able to zone them off. Double Cloak smokes up into Heaven, trying to see if they can create safe passage for the Jet, though. Pop Flash up into Heaven. Blade Storm is online. Fahad's going to find the first one. Trey is going to get taken down. Hunter's Fury is now going to be the response. Lockdown also invested both sides, not wanting to give an inch in this round right now, but it looks like Western is eventually going to come out of the clear out of the smoke here. Dudes is going to find one back, but ultimately Waldo continuing to find kills. Diffuse has to get started. It's getting pretty late. Crazy is going to kill the diffuser, though. Time is going to be reset. Crazy might actually steal this round away. He has gotten a triple kill, and there is not enough time to find this diffuse. I think he's clutched it. Oh, good. Yeah, he got it.
There's no chance they have that time. Sean tries, but as that last player alive, not enough time. The clutch in the post plant from Northeast Guilford. And it's 3 rounds straight. Waldo, you've only picked up 2 kills since your first 2 rounds, since you really had your time to shine there. And now, because of all these rounds that Northeast Guilford has been winning as well, Western has had an interesting economy. It hasn't been able to have even throughout the players. We see Fahad is now on an op, but you're also pairing that up with like light armor Spectres and some light armor rifles. It's not necessarily even around the map, and it means that there are little weak points here and there in certain spots when you've got a player sitting with a Spectre, for example.
So this time they are actually going to go for the B play. So maybe they figured this Killjoy eventually will switch to A if we keep going here, but she did not. She set that sucker up on B. She remained true to her tactics, and she finds the kill onto Crazy. Yeah, I just think Northeast assumed we won A for free 3 times in a row. This Killjoy has got to switch sites eventually, because at some point, right, if it ain't broke, don't fix it for Northeast. But if I'm that Killjoy, I would also start thinking about rotating after we lose over and over again. But the flank is going to come through in time. Jod is going to find the first one. That Spectre is actually going to get some work done, is going to upgrade to that Vandal. So now it is a 4v1 Inky. Less than half HP, buried back in Boathouse. That Molly, though, was right on target, and so is the op shot. So that is going to be West Guilford with authority playing retake and taking a 3rd round.
Everything kind of just came together on that retake. Jod was able to find 2. Trey whiffs the initial shot onto Jod. It means he gets to kind of reposition and respray and kind of just transfer that spray over to Trey. Trey's down, and they get to move towards that last player on site. Waldo, the setup on B, he's back there once again, and while Northeast Guilford is just going to hammer A here, and I feel like we kind of all know that, and maybe could make a mid play or something like that, the fact that he's sticking to B, that Waldo's sticking to B, I kind of like it. If you just make it so B is completely off limits and Northeast Guilford is just terrified of B, you know exactly what they're going to do every round.
Yeah, the only thing is, if you only send 2 to 3 players to A, if they put 5 on A and they go for a dive, there's really nothing you can do to stop it. You've got a couple pieces of util with the Sova and the KO, but if that ends up getting taken away, you're going to be in a lot of trouble trying to lock down that defense. But they're going to stay. Tried and true turret is going to play the cross into garage. Microwave is going to be set up in lane just in case this Jet wants to try to get active, but Trey could potentially look for the updraft over top of the util, but he won't even get a chance to throw a single blade. Shut down by Jaeger. That was Jaeger's first kill of the game too, and that is definitely a rather impactful frag in the mid round right now, and it's going to slow down this Northeast offense to a halt. They're going to have time to recollect themselves. Although Jod is going to be rotating off of A, not exactly sure I would do this when Killjoy and everybody else is there, but they're going to give the A site for free, and they're going to make this round kind of interesting.
Yeah, 1 player down and kind of has to rethink, reformulate this entire game plan here. This is going to be an interesting one. He pops the Owl drone over on A, and we are going to see Jod just use this ultimate from the Omen, get that reposition. And now Northeast Guilford, second guessing themselves.
They don't
triple
have time
guessing
to go
themselves. I don't even know.
10 seconds
They have to
left.
make up their mind. Does he have time to get to this site? I think he might just make it in time. Yes, he does. Plant.
Oh,
yes, he does.
my God. He does make it just in time. I thought for sure there was going to be a little bit of delay there, but ultimately the plant is going to be good. That's going to be cash in the pocket, but now you've got to win a 3v2. Jod, though, Recon Bolt is going to find the scan, and Ruku ratting just behind Pizza top mid is going to find one, but Fahad with the op is going to hit that shot. Nice and true. Dudes, though, 2v1 off in the short corner. He's going to be playing just outside of door. I'm not sure Fahad is going to have any idea he's playing here. Does only have the Sheriff, though. He's going to get a free crack. He's trying to trigger discipline. He's got 2 players, but eventually you got to line them up, and they both walk right by him. Wingman in hand, caught unaware. Somehow, some way, Northeast just absolutely stealing that round.
You gotta check those corners, and beautiful from the Sova there from Dudes to be able to just sit there. He knows he has the Sheriff, knows they have to wait and really make these shots count. Seeing that second player pass, waiting for your moment, and it's just perfect. It all came together exactly how you wanted it, and great trigger discipline.
I've just got to wonder how you have 4 players on defense and you're not able to stop a plant before any fights even happen. You just got to split up that defense a little bit better, thin out the numbers across the map, give yourself a fighting chance at every single one of these sites. Because right now, A site, once again, deja vu, they're going to take this. There is no resistance. The KO ultimate is going to go through for Northeast. It's going to shut off that defensive util, is going to shut down the blades for a few seconds. And Jod, though, double kill with the Vandal. That's going to open things up a lot. Dizzy is going to go over top. Everybody playing backside Jen. That is a perfect flash, though. Jaeger traded up behind Jen. Waldo and Dudes will go back and forth. Now Dudes just shifting out of cellar. Molly in hand for Sean, just has the pop flash ready, but Waldo, this guy has been on fire all game long, so he's going to go for any one of those chows. Sean possibly maybe looking for a 6th player, but no one is going to be there, so it'll be a nice, easy wrap-up, and that'll be 4-4.
I don't know. Dude, I think Sean might have actually thought there was another player left.
Was he looking for
there?
he was looking for his second
waiting.
Phoenix running back.
He's like, oh, stick it, I'll hold it for you. And Waldo's just like, man, I cleared them all out there.
Honestly, it happens, though.
Yeah, sometimes you're so locked in, you're just kind of still in it, and you still want to look for that next player.
The best is like you're like hard calming while your teteammates just sticking the defuse. It's like, it's like, dude, he's like, we've been good for
I'm
like
clearing wine,
going
A main, going A main. It's like,
flashing,
bro, I'm diffusing. They're
It's
dead.
round 1. Yeah. The fuse is done, man. We are A-okay. I would like to see a mid play. I don't think we've seen maybe 2 fights in mid, and I think it was with the Outlaw back in round 2, so I definitely don't mind the mid play, although we did see Northeast do this last time on Split, where they go through mid maps just to snake back to the other side, and the pop flash and the Maserati swing will catch the Phoenix off guard, so this rotation over to A is going to have to be matched quickly because it should be a free plant through. Not sure if this is going to be enough to try to possibly get the lockdown. But they have the Hunter's Fury, or rather, yeah, Western Lockdown and Gecko Ultimate online. So they've got some tools to play post plan, but you are going to be down that Phoenix.
I don't think they're faking anything anymore. I think they just don't want to deal with that Killjoy utility. If Waldo's not going to switch off B, they're playing A every round. There is going to be the lockdown from the defending Killjoy. That is a lot of suppress
and
right there.
And the clone's back anyways.
Just so much to deal with. Even the Gecko ult comes through. So much disable, both on the lockdown and the Thrash. But in the end, can't really find anyone. And you burnt a lot of ultimates trying to make that one happen.
Here's the issue with Clove, too, for playing the defender side. You use 2 ultimates to kill her that are very strong ultimates. She can come back to life and play the post plant for 7-8 more seconds. That's the only thing. It's like, this kill is great. It is going to buy us a couple seconds to cook. But if she comes back and we are not ready to fight 3v3 again, this is going to be completely round breaking. And even then, she was able to come back, get some chip damage into one of the last players and just secure the round. Then you get your life back. She gets to pick up that gun again. That saves the economy. So it's definitely something I think a lot of players are still trying to adjust to. I know even for me, it's right. You think the round is won. She decides to hit that X button, and all of a sudden the round seems like it is a lot harder. Because at least Phoenix, right? You get the voice line. It's telegraphed. He has a totem that he teleports back to. Clove, it's like beat her in a gunfight, and you kind of have to sit there and wonder, like, am I about to have to go round 2?
Yeah, this is what I actually wanted to ask, because I haven't played the agent myself. So do you have to click the ultimate prior to dying, or is it when you are dead you activated it?
I believe it might be prior, but I actually want to double check.
I was gonna say, because if you have to like preemptively click it, it's like, okay, you're kind of committing to that, so that makes sense. But
after she gets eliminated, I think she has a short window to click the button, and if not, she'll just go into regular death.
Yeah, you'd assume it's not, you've been dead for 40 seconds while they come back into the game. Yeah, but immediately after,
clutches a 1v1.
Clutches a 1v1, you're back up, they trade you.
And then Wingman diffuses with no one alive. Peak Valorant. No players alive and everything happening all at once. Looks like the weaponry might be a little bit rough for the defense here. I'm seeing a couple of classics, not really too much heavy hitters as far as utility and weapons are going to go. Jaeger prepping Dizzy for pizza and mid. The push looks like it was going to come through. No tags, though, so they're not going to be ready to clear this one, but they are going to use the lockdown over toward B, it looks like. So you've got to imagine that this B play is going to come through. Trey is going to be good for the first kill. Looks like the execute has to come through. It's going to be a dash up toward mid. Mid control was taken over by Northeast Guilford. They're still looking to fight toward the B site. Killjoy back in Boathouse is going to be detained, so they know that. They have that information. That is going to be a free kill for Trey. Doesn't even have to go for the knife kill. Just a nice, swift kill with the rifle. Will lock that down. The Paranoid will just slip the Sova. Trey has 3 on the round. The plant is already about a third of the way through, and Northeast Guilford looks like this round is locked in.
Yeah, you've only got 2 players really left on this one. As we've talked about, the economy just not there this round. Trey, denied of the ace, cannot match Waldo in that regard, but still going to have a pretty easy end to the round. Jod makes it away. I thought he was going to get caught out after that TP. Tries to make those long shots. He's hitting them. Headshot after headshot. That's 2 kills, 3 on the exits, and he may not be going to win this round. He may just be playing on for a save here, but man,
He only had a Spectre, so I think he's just trying to see if he can either get a Vandal or you die to the bomb with the Spectre, and truthfully, you got 3 kills with it, no harm, no foul, so nice little heist gets the Vandal. Yeah, either way, you're going to be more than okay in that situation. So it's going to be 6-4 going into near the end of the first half here. A couple of good ultimates online for Northeast as well.
I really want to talk about that last round for a sec. We saw, of course, Crazy popped that lockdown, right? That's the attacking lockdown from their Killjoy. What they played so well was they know Waldo has all that utility set up, the microwave set up and waiting. Waldo ended up popping everything right before they were detained, and nobody moved out of garage until the lockdown had already popped. All of that util had already been used because Waldo just needed to use it, didn't want to get caught out detained and not use it. So it was all just gone, and they had a free B take, a perfect way to work around the util that had been giving them so much trouble in earlier rounds.
Yeah, and that Killjoy lockdown, that is I think it's definitely a longer detain than the Gecko one because of the recast. So if you get hit by a Killjoy detain, 99.9% of the time, your round is over, and it looks like this round almost over before it begins. 35 seconds in, 5 players already in the grave. Ruku looking to make that 6, evened up at 2-2 right now. A site once again going to be open, so A defense has been optional for the side of West Guilford. They are going to look to possibly play through main here. Looks like Trey has repositioned very nicely. Dizzy up through heaven, looking to find the timing. Trey knows they're up in heaven now. Dizzy has given that away. They know there's that second player somewhere as well. It is going to be Waldo alive, so we've got some heavy hitters on the board, but Trey is going to win a huge 1v1, and Ruku just going to go for the distraction jump peek so Trey can find the wide swing up into heaven and lock in a 7th round for Northeast.
Last round before the
And after
switch.
taking down all those rifles from the side of Western Guilford, I want to see, because this is a pretty big loss bonus at this point. We did see the save in an earlier round, so there may be some good weaponry under their belt. They might be able to squeak out stuff, but I'm expecting light armors from the side of this defense, and that's exactly what I'm seeing. Whereas Northeast Guilford, they're on the attack, so they're not going to. They could throw an op in Trey's hand if he wanted to right now and not even worry about it for this last round.
Yeah, on attack, usually the Jet on Ascent, you're kind of that dive agent. You're the one that's kind of the tip of the spear. You have to be that engaged tool because you're not playing that raise. So trying to bring an op into that, you know, maybe theoretically you could find a nice little flick, but
he does have Blade Storm, so this would be the round to do it if so. But yeah, I think the Vandal on attack, especially with how Trey's been playing, probably the smarter decision here. Still, the op would be a little ego if anything.
And I think Northeast is either trying to set a trap or they were maybe waiting for the KO to go throw the knife across the map, try to bait the rotations, which it looks like might be a swap toward mid. Looks like a 2-2-1 split for West Guilford, but once again, Microwave is set up in lane. A lot of ultimates online for both sides. The KO ultimate for Northeast is going to be the key here. That hits the null command. That's going to shut off all this KG util. That's going to give them free entry onto site, assuming they can slip past that smoke. But Waldo is going to clear one. Inky getting his first kill of the game just at the end of the first half, but that is a big kill nonetheless. Ruku will have time to open up for the plant. Dizzy looking to clear mid. No one's going to be there for Jaeger. And now you see the Hunter's Fury is set up right back in that side of spawn. This post plant is going to be very, very easy for Northeast.
I shouldn't have to use too much. You've already got that Blade Storm. He was able to get a reset as well, Trey. I think the first time we saw Trey not hit a headshot, but already back to the headshots. Fahad and Jaw down.
Reset
and just
central.
Wiping through this entire team. Trey, Ruku can't run away from his own teammate, though. Great way to end the half there.
Yeah, that was Reset City by Trey. That was 3 back-to-back resets, essentially. All headshots, all with the Blade Storm. So that is exactly what you're looking for out of one of your superstar duelist players. And 17-9, basically matching Waldo literally tip for tap right now. Basically down to the assist. Exact same scoreline. Definitely a bit wild to see as we get into the second half. But now we're playing Ascent on defense. Theoretically, this is the side you prefer. Even as Valorant has evolved over time, Ascent is typically probably a 7-8 round favorite half. I don't really think it's any more than that at this point in the game. But now you've got the Clove, you've got the KO, you've got your own Killjoy. You've got a lot of ways to play defense here, and this is going to be a pretty tough wall to crack, especially playing a Phoenix Jet Omen might be a little bit harder for site control.
You hear a lot of footsteps, so that's a lot of audio cues for Ruku right now. There's 2 players through.
Wow. That'll work.
Not coming back.
Yeah, Fahad with the first one, and it's an easy plant.
Spike planted.
Got what? 4 players coming in for this retake, but look how far away Trey is. Trey, the player who's always on the flank. When is he not on the flank? Gonna find Shanj over at A main. Now has to play around this smoke, but should be able to push through it, especially with all 4 players kind of collapsing here. Trey finds another, finds a 4th. The redemption. Will it be ace for ace? Sova, the thief of all glory, but nonetheless a round win. If I was Trey, I'd personally be yelling in the Discord right now. We do have a serial pentastealer in our group, so.
Yeah, honestly, I definitely understand the feeling of, you know, especially, right, like you said, getting it on pistol to try to get revenge onto Walla would have been so sweet, especially now that you've been pulling away in this game. Even that round, and right, usually it's the lurking Cypher and the Ego Chal Jet. This is both of those jets. This is the Ego Chal and the Ratting Jet. This Trey has just been playing each and every map so well, bouncing all around back and forth, and 21-9. I just called the scoreline last round, said him and Waldo were dead even. He has now separated himself from the rest of the pack in this game, and the way this game has been going, you've got to think that Northeast is looking to win 1 or 2 more rounds and put the squeeze on. Goes Trey.
Yeah, we've seen 5 rounds straight. They've got so much to work with now, and you're playing on that defense. You're waiting for these players to play into you. They're gonna allow Western to head onto the site, not going to lose any players on the entry, and instead play for a 5v5 retake. Know they've got the equipment advantage here. Not going to give them time to get many setups. There is a player logs you got to be worried about, but he is down. Only the 2 players left on the site, Jobin.
Oh, that was the perfect counter flash from Dizzy, and Inky is going to time it perfectly right there. Northeast, great job to swarm the site, play the retake, nice and safe. Just time off of those flashes. You have so much util with the Sova, the KO, the Killjoy, the Clove. There's so much that this offense is going to have to deal with in the post plant. So just a nice, clean execute. You play the post plant. You take that second round as you should. 4 players alive. So all those Spectres will stay online for the moment. And yeah, West Guilford, probably the best time to take a timeout. You might be running out of chances to take them. It's 10-4. This is going to be another goodbye round for you. But if you were to lose this round, that was potentially one of the last 2 goodbyes you'll have for the game.
That's the thing. There's the time starting to run away from you. You don't have so many rounds left under your belt. You were able to find 4 in that first half, and for most people, I think, yeah, you're looking for a strong defensive half, don't get me wrong, but an 8-4 half is not something you can't come back from. But when you lose that pistol round, you lose the bonus, the lead starts to get bigger, and with the economy that they have, Northeast Guilford, there's a real possibility that they just run through 3 more rounds straight and don't really have to worry about anything. This is the round to kind of turn the tides. Western Guilford, they should have weapons to work with here. They should have rifles, and this is when you have to get your momentum started.
I mean, yeah, this is a must-win round because of what you said. Northeast, this is a good round where they're not going to have 5 rifles. They're bringing in 4 Spectres and I think a Ghost into this, so they really have nothing to lose. They can afford to maybe take a couple challenges or, you know, even play safe and just wait and say, if we can get a 2 to 3 kills, maybe try to set up for a post plant and make the round interesting, we're going to be more than happy. So right now, all the pressure on West Guilford. You've got to bring these rifles through. Shanja's possibly not getting to the buy window in time and put his order in late there, so he is unfortunately going to have a Ghost, and one of your duelists not having that rifle is definitely going to sting, especially though Ruku all by himself runs out with the fragment. Fahad slips the audio cue, and they've just given the A site for free.
That's 1 player down, an early one too.
Oh, Lil Bro.
Such a quick plant. Lil Bro gets the plant off too. Shout out Wingman. And this means you have 5 players to kind of watch all angles. You did have a dark cover down. Nobody's coming down off of heaven. Nobody's going to make that push. Now might be the time. Clove to set up the util.
Yeah, you've got a 5v4. You've got a little bit of space to play with. Fahad, though, great job to play backside corner on Jen. Very ratty spot that will find you some numbers, and the recon bolt perfectly scanned out as well. So right now, the util doing the heavy lifting. Dudes down to 1 HP, 2 members sitting down in cellar. But Waldo, great counter strafe, great headshot. That should stabilize this round for West Guilford. Dizzy is going to fly by dudes, and Fahad's got a 4K of his own. So the opposing Jet trying to get active on the offensive side right now, and they're going to need some more rounds like that. They still got 5 more to go, but that was definitely a round they will be happy to have.
You know what? It was Waldo kind of putting on a show for us on the defensive side, and as we moved over to attack, when the team needs to create more space, needs to get more aggressive, we're actually seeing Fahad put in a lot more work here. So it's good to see from Western Guilford. And you're only down 5 rounds now. Okay, you've brought that differential down. It keeps getting lower if you can keep finding these round wins. Now you've got a bit of an even round on your hands, though there is going to be, you know, some real weapons, some rifles in the hand of Northeast Guilford. Something you might have to keep in mind.
Be massive, though. If he can catch timing on this massive swing into A, this could be a lights out for West Guilford, but he is just going to miss the timing. Ruku, though, working at a tree. So the Odin is merely the distraction because there are 2 other players that have rifles, and they are trying to barrel down on this West Guilford team. And now, right now, you are forced to play the A side. Wingman is going to go for the plant. They're looking for the wall. They're trying to stop it. Yeah, he hears it. Just unfortunately couldn't cut the angle, but right now, they are just cutting down West Guilford with the gunny. That is going to be 4 alive for Northeast. That is going to be 11 on the board with authority. And West Guilford, you have to imagine they might be able to rebuy full rifles, full armor again. Don't know about the util, but again, it's one of those rounds where losing all 5 members, it's going to be a little bit tricky to try to stay around in this one, especially when this Jet player, Trey, has been popping off. He's been a little bit quiet on the defense. You don't really need him to go as crazy every single round. He's got the Blade Storm now, and we know how deadly this guy can be with it.
Well, that's the thing. You almost want to, or you almost need to force right now, because you can't let Northeast Guilford get to that 12th round, that match point. But also, I'm realizing right now that they have a lot of money under their belt, because
I think they saved a few of them didn't buy. Yeah,
I was gonna say they had to have like not bought for a bit, or that loss bonus is just way bigger than I remember, because I don't think after winning a round and then immediately losing a round, you should have that money, but for some reason it's worked for them. And Dudes was a little bit too preoccupied. Fahad gets to just sprint into him. I guess when you're spraying the Odin, you cannot hear footsteps.
Yeah, honestly fair, and I respect Fahad for challenging that and punishing that, you know, Odin Sova abuser. We've seen enough of that over the years, but it looks like Northeast right now, they are just completely punishing West. They walked them down in B, started throwing haymakers, and they were knocked out cold in the first round. That is 12-5. West Guilford, I think, has enough credits to at least buy rifles. I'm not sure if it'll be full armor. I saw some of them had at least 2K, it looked like, in the bank, so there should theoretically be some semblance of a purchase, but considering the ultimates they're going up against, the Null Command, Clove having that second life, and then obviously Trey has the Blade Storm still sitting in that back pocket. This is going to be a fairly hard press, especially on offense. Trying to run in and blitz people with the Spectre when they can sit back on these nice angles with Vandals, it is so hard to crack.
Yeah, they do. Off of all that money they somehow stacked up, I still don't really have the full picture. And I have to like go back through the game.
Some of them
to
literally
really
didn't buy
understand
guns
it. Yeah. But nonetheless, match point for Northeast Guilford, but Western Guilford does have a full buy to work with. There's one player with a Spectre, I think it's that Phoenix, but other than that, we're looking at full rifles, and they've got that Thrash to work with. That's everything, and you have to put it all into this round.
A Trey right now, I was going to say Trey is at the rattiest spot of all time. He kills 3 right off the rip. Inky finds the 4th. The Null Command's going to go live. They know they've got one pinned down and spawn. And now it is just the great chase for the last kill. And Trey putting the stamp of approval on a signature back-to-back for him. Popping off in game 1 and then I think getting 30+ kills by the end of game 2. And once again, end of the first half, 4 with the Blades. End of the game, another 4 with the Blades. Something poetic about it, and then I think he got maybe 50 kills between 2 games, so that is you'll take that.
I think that Trey may literally be the destroyer of dreams, the eater of worlds. I could keep going on, but yeah, in terms of this division right now, just tearing through both the maps that we saw today. That whole squad together, Ruku as well, had a very, very good map on Ascent there. Crazy was putting in all the work on both the Cypher and the Killjoy there. That whole team seems to work together like clockwork, and you see the results on the screen. You see the 13-5s. I think were both maps 13-5 there? I think so. So very solid score lines throughout, definitely dominant games, and Trey put on a bit of a show for us.
Yeah, and good to see from, I think it was STEM and West Guilford as well. They still had some good moments in some of these rounds, but ultimately, I said it earlier, sometimes if you have that superstar player at some of these high schools, or even we see it in collegiate too, even in a lobby with 10 players on scholarship, sometimes one guy just has the best hands in the lobby, and that guy's going to drop 40, and he will single-handedly win you 6-7 rounds in a game of Valorant. And as long as everybody else supports him and does enough to win the rest of the game, that is going to be a recipe for a nasty team. So looking at Northeast Guilford, definitely, maybe not to come out of the group as the #1 seed, but having a player like Trey and that team around him, I'd be very surprised that they weren't able to make a run toward the end of the year, because just 2 dominant matches today.
Yeah, and I guess just a little bit, now that we are in week 3, I guess to look towards the future, if you're just here to tune in for Valorant, next week, from what I understand, is going to be the start of playoffs. So you can find out the details on the exact format of that, but from what I understand, it's still going to be best of ones there moving in through playoffs, and then the finals itself will be a nice best of 3 match for these teams as well. So, you really get to see these teams throughout the duration of those finals there, and they're going to have to adapt during that set as well. But for the rest of those matches, looking like it's just going to be best of ones. Jobin, I think that's really it for us tonight. It's been 2 solid matches there from Northeast Guilford, definitely giving us a show. Of course, there are other games going on. If you're here on the VESL channel, there are all those other divisions. I think some of them have 3, 4, 5 games tonight, so there should be action all night. So definitely something you want to check out there. All those other casters, all the other production is just as solid as over here. We love them over there, but I think that's going to be it for us tonight, Jobin. It's been a pleasure bringing you these Valorant games. I've been Fundy, joined by Jobin. This was week 3 VESL, Northeast Guilford, STEM EC, and Western Guilford. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a good night.